Hello, my name is Dr. Moses Aqua, and we are going to talk about creating effective organizational designs, which is Unit 8 of your class notes, and also Chapter 10 of the book. The divisional structure looks like what we see on the screen, and also it is one of the most common structures. It is an organization form in which the products, the projects, or product markets are grouped internally. In other words, the organization will group all activities that correspond to the same products together and all markets together. And so it is usually organized around products, as we said, projects or product markets. It is also called the multi-divisional structure or the M form of organization. The advantages are it allows for the creation of strategic business units. In other words, it allows for all business units that have some relationship to be brought together. It also allows for the separation of strategic and operational control. The strategic control at the top management level, the operational control at the middle management level. It allows for quick response to important changes in the external environment. And then there are also minimal problems of sharing resources across functional departments, because if each division will have most of the functions represented in the division, it also allows for the development of managerial talent. The disadvantages in the functional structure is the fact that it can be very expensive. In other words, it can lead to the duplication of activities. And this duplication can be very expensive for the organization. It can also lead to some dysfunctional competition among divisions, because if especially managers are evaluated based on their divisional performance, then they can be competing among themselves, although they are in the same company. And so that is one of the disadvantages. Differences in image and quality may occur across divisions. In other words, some divisions may have high reputation for making high quality products. Some divisions may not have that, and that can also create problems. And it can focus on short-term performance as against long-term performance, especially if managers are evaluated on financial performance. Now, the strategic business unit structure is an organizational form in which projects, and product market divisions are grouped into homogeneous units. So you have a situation where organizations are grouped into homogeneous units in such a way that they can easily work together. An example of the strategic business unit structure is Johnson & Johnson. Johnson & Johnson actually is grouped into strategic business units. You have the consumer products, which is made up of so many companies. You have the pharmaceuticals, which is made up of so many companies, and we have the medical devices and diagnosis, which is also made up of so many companies. The advantages of the strategic business unit structure is, planning and control is done by the corporate office and makes it more manageable. At the same time, individual business units, although they are autonomous, can react more quickly to important changes. And so because they are autonomous, they can do things on their own without relying very much on the top management or the corporate office. The disadvantages is that it may be very difficult to achieve synergies, because each company, even within the business unit, is autonomous, and so they want to do their own thing rather than work together with other companies. There is also additional level of management that increases expenses for the organization as a whole. The holding company structure is also another form of, definitely the multi-divisional form of organization. And it is an organizational form in which the divisions have a high degree of autonomy, both from other divisions and from the corporate office. The appropriate, the holding company structure is also appropriate when the businesses in the company's portfolio do not have much in common. Then it is better to do that. And an example of a company with a holding company structure is Newell Rubbermaid. And I'm sure that a lot of you are buying products that are made by Newell Rubbermaid but does not have the name Newell Rubbermaid on it. I will encourage you to search, do some homework on Newell Rubbermaid to find out the type of businesses they are in and the type of activities they get involved in. Advantages involved, cost savings with lower overhead costs. The autonomy also increases the motivation of each division and the managers to do their best. But of course, there is always the problem of control. From the corporate office, they may not be able to control the activities of the holding company very much, and then also there is also less staff support from the corporate office on the holding company structure of organization. The last organizational structure that is more traditional is a matrix structure, and as you will see, the matrix structure is very complicated, more complicated than all the other structures that we have discussed so far. The matrix structure is an organizational form in which there are multiple lines of authority, and some individual managers report to at least two bosses, or we say two managers. It is a combination of the functional and divisional structures. Example of a company that actually is used the matrix organizational structure is a company in has a head office in both Holland and Sweden called Asia Brown Boveri, or ABB, sorry. And they have managers reporting to at least three bosses, one at the divisional level, one at the functional level, one at the geographic level. Dell Computer is also another company that has used the matrix organization structure with managers reporting to the sales bosses, reporting to their product bosses, and reporting to their business bosses. So it is a structure that is not very common, but definitely being used by so many organizations. Advantages include the use of specialized personnel, equipment, and facilities, and also providing professionals with a broader range of responsibilities and experience. But disadvantages include causing uncertainty and leading to intense power struggles. In other words, if you are reporting to your functional boss, your product boss, and your geographic boss, whose decisions do you take, or whose orders do you really take? It becomes a very difficult issue unless there's a clear line indicating who is or who has more authority. And then also working relationships become more complicated, even as I've explained, and decisions may take very long.